All right, so today we're going to talk about the important elements that make that every story needs for it to be successful. So when we're looking at this short story, we're going to use the example of Cinderella to explain how these elements are used within a story. Okay, the first element that every story needs is a setting. A setting is the time and the place that a story's actions takes place. So they could be in the past, it could be in the present, it could be in the future, and it doesn't have to. It could be set in more like a school setting. It could be set in a household. It could be set in another country or another world or another planet or somewhere that's make believe that doesn't exist, or in some sort of fairy tale. That's completely up to you. But then it also says that it needs to include the values and the beliefs of that. So basically, so if that world thinks differently, if everybody thinks that being, I don't know, short is the best thing that you can be, and tall people are very, very are like teased a lot, then that's what you have to explain in the setting as well, about what the beliefs of this world that you're creating are. So that's the setting, and that's really, really important. And it's about creating that sense so that we have an idea in our head of what this setting looks like, not just saying it was set in a forest. Trying to explain it so that when we're trying to read it, we have a good idea of what that is. So the setting in Cinderella is it's a long time ago, and it's a land ruled by a king and queen. That's the idea that they give you about the setting. Okay, the next thing you need is characters. Now, characters can be people, they can be animals, they can be whatever you want. They can be objects. If it was like a story about the fact that objects in your house come to life when you're asleep and do things almost like Toy Story, then that's fine. It can be anything you want. Every story should have a main character that we follow through the journey of. The other one is called a protagonist. That's the main character. The other one's an antagonist, which is more like the bad guy, the person who they're in conflict with. Now, not all stories have to have an antagonist, although you can have one if you want. So if you think about something like Harry Potter's the antagonist. Sorry, the protagonist. The antagonist is someone like Voldemort. Okay? And in the protagonist is Cinderella. The antagonist is her stepsisters and the mother, who she's sort of fighting against to try to, be able to go to the ball. Okay. All right. The next thing is theme. Okay, where is the central theme or idea of the story? Okay. Often a perception about life or human nature. So basically, some themes are stated, so they explain exactly what the theme of the story is, and some are just implied. Okay, so someone might say this is a story about friendship, and they pretty much explain that before they start. Some themes are implied, so they're inferred through what we're doing. So Cinderella's theme is implied, so you can infer from reading Cinderella the theme is that if you do your best and you try really hard, good things will come to you and you will get what you want. And that if you are mean and not very good, then in the end, karma will come back and you'll end up paying for what you've done. Okay. The next thing a story needs is a plot. Now, plot is basically a series of events. Now, the series of events should start through some form of events that build on each other. You shouldn't start with the biggest event first, unless you're going to come back to that later. But basically, it should build from that. The events that you might have an external conflict. So someone's trying to compete. Maybe they're a sports star and they're trying to beat someone who's on the other one, and they're fighting against them the whole time, and they're trying to beat them in basketball or some other sport. That would be an external conflict. Or there could be the second one, which is an internal conflict, which is a journey that a character's going through where they're torn between their feelings or what they should do. Maybe they don't know whether they should tell on their best friend, and it's about their process of how they're dealing with this and whether they should tell on their best friend or not. So that would be an internal conflict because it's happening inside their own head. So the problem in Cinderella is that Cinderella wants to go to the ball, but her stepsisters prevent her from going, and the conflict is external because Cinderella's actually sort of conflicting with somebody, her stepsister and her mother, so it's external. So we could have lots of different types of conflict. We could have person versus a person, so like in Cinderella, person versus society. So that's basically they're trying to defeat some sort of societal problem, versus nature. So they might be trying to conquer a mountain, trying to defeat, climb this mountain, or versus themselves, which is more of like we talked about, an internal struggle where they're trying to deal with the emotions and feelings that they're going through. So when you were talking about plot, when we're talking about this idea of building characters, with the exposition, we usually try to introduce the orientation. We're trying to build the story's characters, the setting, and the conflict. We might try to expose them to little bits of characters, personality, and then we try to build on that through the actions of the characters, which is more what we talked about before with show, not tell. So you might not explain all of the characters' traits. You might explain some of the characters' traits early on and then try to show them through the actions that they do. And you should think about the idea that the events should be building. So there's actions getting a little bit more like intense, the conflict's getting more, it's building, the tension's building, and then we come to a big problem, which is the climax, which is the biggest like conflict of the story, and then we have the falling action, which is how it gets solved, and then we have a resolution, which is what's the final outcome of the story. So they're the 5 stages of the plot. Now I'm going to show you a quick video by a site called Flowcabulary, which is supposed to explain these 5 elements just in a fun sort of way so that you will try to remember these 5 elements, okay? I'm going to quiz you in class as to whether you remember the 5 elements. Enjoy.
Compartment, a castle, or check it out, yo. Yeah. Setting, that's like where it's going down. Could be the train compartment, a castle, or a town. Could be the Arctic winter, like to build a fire. The temperature's dropping, excitement's getting higher. Setting sets the scene, so the scene seems set. Could be an Italian restaurant where we met. Setting gives us the where and the when. Could be modern day, the future, or way back when. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot is the action, the quest for satisfaction. What's going down, what's going to happen? 4 men at sea in an open boat, rowing and hoping that they can stay afloat. The plot, they had to make it to the beach, but the waves are big and the shore seems out of reach. Plot is a series of events like Lemony Snicket. It could be crazy, wild, or straight wicked. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Knock, knock. Oh, it's the characters, the people in the story who carry out the action. Characters can be pretty tiny or clean. Characters can be silly, whiny, or mean. Juliet is a character and so is Romeo. Pokemon has characters and so does Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters can be dogs, lions, or hippos. J.K. Rowling chose Harry Potter. Who knows? Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Put your snack back in your backpack, we're not finished. Something going wrong. That's the conflict, kids. A struggle in the plot, now who's on top? Could be a fight for money like some robbers and cops. Could be an internal conflict, a struggle inside. Like I don't wanna tell the truth, but I don't ever wanna lie. Flick something in your eye, now you're conflicted. What created drama? The conflict did. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting. The theme of the story is the main idea, the central belief or the topic that's in there. It's usually something abstract like sacrifice, isolation, and resurrection. We back to life. Like don't lie, don't practice libel. The theme of To Build a Fire is survival. Survivor on your own like 5-0. Vocabulary, something that you have to get. Plot, character, conflict, theme, setting. Yes, these are the 5 things that you're gonna be needing when you're reading or writing a short story that's mad exciting.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video and hope you learned about the 5 elements of a story.